Hi guys, it's your boy Chris from Gemini Canine Obedience, and today we're going to be talking about the frontal behavior, or aka the recall. For competitive obedience reasons, what we want to see is a dog that comes into the frontal position very close, let's say around here, for the handler without touching or bumping, and for, again, our pet dog audience, to teach them to come in as close as possible, which allows you to put your leash on. We've heard some people say that with their pet dog, they come in but they stop fairly far away from them, and if there's a distraction off in the distance, when they go to get them, boom, they're gone. So what we found works is to teach them to come in as close as possible, and this video is dedicated to that. So with that, let's move on. The frontal position, aka the come command, we work with our feet spread apart because we're going to teach the dog to come into what we call the pocket right between the knees. So normally what I will do is start with a slight bend at my knees, and then in regards to the bait that we're going to be using, the treats, I usually trap the treat between my thumb and my forefinger, just like that. And what will happen is, now when we're teaching the dog, we're going to take our hand outstretched just like this with the thumb pointed towards the dog, and then we're going to call the dog in as we draw the dog into position, forming almost like a J motion. Now my thumb is facing the ground. It's going to feel a little awkward, but what happens is with your thumb facing the ground, the bait's facing the ground, it helps to keep the dog straight. Now anatomically, if you bring your arm in, this is what happens. The bait now is facing this way, which would cause the dog to shift. So again, when bringing it in, you form like a J, and look at the formation of my arm. It should feel a little awkward, and you get the dog comfortable coming into the actual pocket. Once it's there, we mark the behavior and we reward. Okay, so we're going to try it with Amber here, Kayla. So when you're ready, we're going to have the bait, all right, as you see, trapped between her thumb and her forefinger. Hello, Amber. Get away from me. All right, so when you're ready, let's try it.
Sit. Stay.
Good. She has her feet apart, and she's going to draw the dog in.
Here.
Very nice. And she treats. And then the release command.
Okay.
Good.
Girl.
Let's try it again for them. Very nice.
Here.
She waits for the dog to settle, and then she rewards the dog.
Good girl.
And one more.
Good girl.
Beautiful.
Sit.
Looking good.
Stay. Here.
Excellent. And the release. Very good. Good job.
Good girl.
So you see, with the dog, when it comes in, some dogs get a little anxious, like what Amber just did, jumping up. So what we do is the handler just waits for the dog to settle. Once the dog settles, then we reward the dog. We try not to reward the dog when it's jumping up on us, unless it's a situation where I'm working with a young puppy or a dog that is not as confident coming into the handler like that. Then we will actually promote coming up to take the treat, because that helps to build confidence. Beautiful.
Good.
So again, for dogs that are not as confident or young puppies, sometimes we'll start the exercise with the handler seated, just as you see here, and it really helps to build confidence. And even with a young puppy, or again, like I said, the not confident dog, if it climbs up on the handler, it's not a big issue. What we're trying to do is build confidence, get the dog comfortable coming in that close to the handler. Why you'll find some dogs are not that comfortable is because we are the alpha, and so they don't feel comfortable coming in that close to the alpha. So this is something that we try to encourage. And a lot of what we do in there, very nice. As you see, she's in there, she's comfortable, she's taking the treats. This is what we use, again, for preparing dogs for competitive style obedience, but it's not limited to just that. Even the pet dog owner, if they want their obedience to look really flashy or teach their dog to come in a little bit tighter, because some dogs tend to come but they'll stop a little bit further away from you, this is an exercise where you can teach a dog to come in close and get all rewards. And you see the dog is quite comfortable being in that position. And all the handler does is sit back and just have the dog come to it. The handler doesn't go to the dog. The dog must reach out for the actual bait.
Good girl.
That's gonna be so loud. Now the handler is placing a toy under their chin. And what's going to happen is, instead of rewarding the dog with the bait, the handler is going to reward the dog with the toy. Let's try it and see what happens.
Here.
So she lures the dog in as usual. And then she drops the toy down and she plays her. Yeah, where you try to go? Yeah, that's it. Lots of play. Very nice. So instead of rewarding the dog with the bait, she's actually rewarding the dog with the toy. And you can refer to our other video, transitioning from food to the toy, to get a better idea of how we go about doing that. But that's just a small glimpse of what we do in regards to eventually taking away the bait and getting the dog to come in for the actual toy. So you could eventually omit the hand, say here, once the dog gets it, the dog comes into position, and then boom, you reward with the toy under the neck. We keep the toy under our neck so as to keep the dog straight in position, as opposed to bringing it out with our hand. Another thing to keep in mind is we want to alternate hands when we're working with the bait. So sometimes we will use the right hand, sometimes we will use the left hand. And the reason being is if you use one side, let's say I'm using my right hand all the time, eventually the dog will have a side preference. It's going to anticipate the food coming from this side, so the dog starts to lean to one side. But if you do this, the first call, second call, third call, fourth call, the dog eventually puts it together, come in, neutralize, and get my bait dead center, as opposed to one side. Finger. Good. And draw it in. Freeze. Mark. Reward. Good. Let's try it. Take a step back. Good. Step in. Good. Treat. Okay. And make sure when you bring it in that your hand doesn't turn. It must feel awkward as you draw it in. The thumb pointed straight down. All right, here we go. Come. And then you come in. Treat. Nice. One more. Very nice. Good job, buddy. You want to wrestle? Yeah. Let's do another one. Okay. Ah, yeah. Count thumb. In. Freeze. There you go, and release. Bait between your thumb and your forefinger. You're pointing directly at the dog. You step back as you draw him in and forming a J so that your thumb eventually points towards the floor. Ready? Let's try it. Come. Freeze. Step in. Treat. Release. Okay. Very nice. Let's try it again. Let's find our mark. Same thing. Reform. Come. Step in. Freeze. Nice. One more. Okay. Beautiful. Get your mark. Speed apart for the recall. Come. Perfect. Lots of praise. That was really good. Good job. Very nice. And let's take the forefinger. And then you're going to be pointing at the dog as you step back and you form a J and draw him in. You have his attention. Young dog, beginner. All right. Freeze. Step in. Treat. Release. Don't forget your release command right away. Come. Freeze. Step in. Freeze. Treat. Release. Okay. Good. Bring it back to your mark. We'll try it again. Trap it between the thumb and the forefinger. Remember, initially it's pointing at the dog. You will step back and form like a J, and then it points towards the floor. Freeze. Step in. Freeze. Release. Okay. And lots of praise and play. Take them on that. Good job.
Let's get scratching.
Informative for you guys in regards to teaching your dog the frontal position. Once again, for competitive obedience, what we want is for the dog to come in very close without bumping or harassing the handler, and again giving full attention and being very straight at the same time. Again, we teach them to come into the pocket. Eventually, the whole thing should look where your feet are together. The dog comes in and stops right in front of you without touching. And for our pet dog audience, it teaches the dog once again to come in close, which allows you to put your leash back on your dog and to take them out of the area. Hope you loved the video. If you did, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and please subscribe to our channel. Have a good